Thousands of kilometers of fish habitat in Greater Georgia Basin streams and rivers are being rehabilitated with support from BC's Living Rivers Trust Fund.
Living Rivers is primarily about water for fish. It's a government response to some of the threats from climate change that are coming our way. It intends to increase the quality and the quantity of habitat for stream-rearing fish.
The efforts of individuals, community groups, and government agencies involved in restoration activities has to be acknowledged. However, the costs involved can be prohibitive for any one agency or group to undertake and often limits the effectiveness of what they are trying to achieve. In 2006, the provincial government committed $21 million for the Living Rivers Trust Fund, a multi-year plan aimed at restoring the diversity and abundance of salmon and steelhead. Living Rivers, Georgia Basin, Vancouver Island has brought in a number of associations that have committed additional resources. Cooperatively, more than $15 million has been invested in numerous initiatives in over 40 watersheds for the health of fish, the aquatic environment, and for the people who appreciate and use those resources. The goal of the Living Rivers program is to mobilize people into action. It provides technical and scientific assistance on integrated restorative measures designed to accelerate natural recovery processes in watersheds that would otherwise require decades, even centuries, to recover naturally.
To me, Living Rivers is a really effective partnership. There's people from different backgrounds, different areas of the province, but they all have in common a shared interest in healthy watersheds. In working together, we're all learning from each other. It's an education process and networking, and it's resulting in a shared vision of what changes can be made on rivers throughout the province.
For Living Rivers, the underlying theme is what can be done that will make a difference. The Living Rivers program for fish habitat restoration and enhancement supports a variety of prescriptions dependent on the individual needs of the watershed. Many restoration projects focus on limiting erosion, such as that on the Cowichan River on the east coast of Vancouver Island. Living Rivers was instrumental in bringing together people and resources to implement the largest in-stream restoration project to date on Vancouver Island with the remediation of the Stoltz Slide, an 800-meter glacial bluff.
You know, you can take on these types of projects that have been insurmountable for several decades if you have the right group of people that are working to achieve some positive outcomes.
Stoltz Bluff was identified as the #1 contributor of fine sediment to the Cowichan, resulting in reduced egg fry survival rates in the lower river. The project saw riprap used to fortify the toe of the new bank terrace, a berm that was constructed below the slide. A series of 11 low-profile bendway weirs are spaced out along the length of the terrace, preventing the river from scouring the base of the slide.
It takes so much time, so much effort, and people like James Craig have done so much work to corral the kinds of resources, both fiscal and human, that need to be put together to undertake something like this. We're all really committed to the success of the project and are hoping that what we're doing here is going to make a big difference to salmon populations downstream of this bluff.
Willow plants and cuttings placed within an erosion-resistant matting provide further erosion protection. The project undertaken in 2006 has successfully prevented further silt deposits from that site entering the river. In many streams, the most effective habitat rehabilitation projects are the creation or re-establishment of side channel and back channel habitat. It's an option used in high-energy coastal streams where extreme flows and channel instability make it impractical to rehabilitate the main stem river. Past practices of logging mature and old-growth trees to the stream bank has probably had the greatest impact on the habitat of stream rearing and resident fish. This is because of the reduction in availability of large woody debris from mature conifer windfalls. It can take centuries to form large woody debris habitat from natural occurrences. Adding whole trees, logs, and root wads provide shape and stability to the stream channel.
It's a triangulated structure that mimics natural habitat within the wild, with a root wad integrated into the matrix of the structure. So it offers excellent overwintering habitat for juvenile salmonids.
It's kind of exciting to see that these footprints of woody debris being put in the system again to create the habitat. Very important. And we're pleased to be able to participate from a Squamish Nation perspective to work with these respective governments and jurisdictions and DFO to make it work for the future.
Another recognized freshwater habitat restoration technique is the replacement of lost nutrients to improve freshwater growth and survival.
We're actually adding the base level nutrients that stimulate growth within a stream, so it's much like fertilizing a garden or your lawn. Here we have the actual bone meal that's being added to these rivers, the organic Alaskan pollock bone meal. And here you can just see fragments of bone. I mean, it's just very simple stuff. You can see the growth we're getting here today off this stuff after approximately 60 days worth. There's a very apparent increase in growth. You know, we see some pretty fat looking fish, so they're definitely happy and they're benefiting greatly.
Living Rivers and its partners are also working to resolve barriers to fish productivity caused by urbanization, such as improving accessibility to streams and lakes, as well as looking at ways to boost the survivability of hatchery-raised fish stocks.
Well, what we're trying to do with Living Rivers in this situation on both the Capilano and Seymour is to help the parties come together and deal with actually a fairly complex technological problem, but provide solutions to sustainability of both the Seymour and Capilano watersheds.
From the completion of the dam in 1954 until the hatchery was constructed in 1972, the historic runs of fish in the Capilano dropped by about, I think it was around 85–90%. There is productive habitat above the dam. Unfortunately, the fish can't get there. We do still truck adults above and let them spawn naturally. Unfortunately, the only way for the smolts to get to the ocean is to pass over Cleveland Dam, which kills about 75–80% of them.
It's been brought to our board's attention that you know, there is a fair amount of mortality with the migrating salmon from the upper watershed, and they've directed staff now to address this issue. So starting next year, we're going to start capturing these smolts, these migrating young salmon, move them around, and in the long term, hopefully have a more permanent fixture here at the Cleveland Dam, which will resolve it in the future.
To ensure the effectiveness of restoration activities, biologists and technicians employ a variety of methods of evaluation to determine which practices are working and which require modification as programs proceed. Data collected from smolt enumerations on rivers and streams where work has been undertaken have shown greater survival of juvenile fish.
Just enough so you can see it.
The success of the Living Rivers program will be closely associated with training and skills development initiatives.
There's a lot of this type of work that's needed to help regain the river health, and to bring some internal capacity within the tribes is a great thing, and we're working with Living Rivers to provide that on-the-ground training and job experience.
And one of the things that's really struck me is this concept of legacy, of working together to build something that will leave a legacy for the community and for the watersheds. But really, we're talking about people. We're talking about helping people in the community that want to dedicate their lives to working around fish habitat. And what stronger legacy can you leave than people like that?
The Living Rivers goal is to create a legacy program of enduring partnerships, scientific excellence, and on-the-ground achievements. New action plans aimed at realizing the collective vision, healthy watersheds, and sustainable fish populations through shared responsibility, stewardship, and wise use of water in the Georgia Basin will emerge as partnerships develop, expand, and go forward. Living Rivers believes challenges to BC's wild rivers and fish resources can be overcome through the vision and resolve of governments and communities working together. The program's first 4 years have achieved remarkable success and laid the groundwork for a more exciting and rewarding future. This is an invitation for others to join a journey that has only just begun.